What's good? What's happening, everybody? It's your boy Ferris Muthana. To another great edition of Good Friends, Better Rivals. Today, we're going to be previewing preseason week 2. Yes, both games will be on Saturday. So there's that. We are going against the schedule. I completely forgot about the schedule. What are we against? We're against the Houston Texans at 10 a.m. And you are against the Raiders at 7. So we have
I will be at that game.
Yeah. So basically we're having it's kind of like a regular Sunday, but it's on Saturday, right? Because it's 10 a.m. and then you got 7, the primetime game, I guess.
Yeah.
And so there's that. So we'll be previewing. We're gonna be talking about what we are looking for in the game. But
we gotta review our last game. We didn't do that.
Your last game.
Yeah.
Your last game. And we're also gonna review your last game. But speaking of that, the person that's gonna help me review this, you just heard him, is the one, the only. It is Caleb. Caleb, how are you, my brother?
I'm good. I mean, it's a little weird because we're matching. It's throwing me off a little bit.
Well, you always copy my flow, so it's fine.
Okay.
Yeah. Unlike you, my beard connects.
I'm actually jealous of that.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's all right. It's fine.
Yeah.
Because I'm better. See this?
Okay. Sure.
Connects. See this? Connections. Connection.
Yeah.
Mine's not patchy. Yours, you only have this and this.
All that growth. Nothing else fills in.
Full growth in a line. You see this? Yeah, it is. And straight.
That must be great.
It's straighter than yours. It's straighter than yours. It's straighter than yours. All right, Willow's Peak. So let's calm it down here. All right. All right. Mine is as straight as Dak Prescott's in that when he got that haircut. You know what I mean? But I digress. Let's get right into this. So Dallas Cowboys had their first preseason game last week. It was against the Los Angeles Rams. Caleb, take me through. What were your initial feelings about that game? You ended up losing it, but it's preseason and it doesn't really matter.
You shouldn't even keep scoring.
Yeah. So the main key was Trey Lance because Cooper Rush only had 3 attempts.
Well, that's what most people say is the story because nobody's seen him. Nobody's seen him. So
that's the big story, right? It's Trey Lance. So what were your initial feelings of Trey Lance? He led your team in rushing. He led your team in passing. Was it a good performance? What are we looking for out of Trey Lance?
He sucked.
All right. Got you.
No, I mean, he wasn't good. I mean, I've been saying it. I mean, I've been saying he doesn't look good in practice. And when you finally get to see him in a game, he looked how he did in practice. He was very indecisive on his throws. He threw very inaccurately. A lot of his balls were high where the receivers had to go up and catch it. He would check it down when he wasn't sure what to do. It wasn't a good performance at all. I mean, he ran because that's what he's best at. That's why he led in rushing. Otherwise, he just too inaccurate. He's an inaccurate quarterback, and his mechanics it's like he's never worked on his mechanics at all. Because all his balls are just wild. I mean, and to give him a little credit, I mean, there was balls that were dropped. Basically, Matt probably should be cut by now because he dropped 2 passes. And then Florida dropped another one. So when he was on target, I mean, the guys weren't catching everything, but just a lot of adjustments that the receivers had to make.
Who did you say should be cut?
Racing McMath.
Racing McMath?
Racy
McMath.
Yeah.
That's not a real person.
That's a real person.
That's a real person? I thought I was hearing anything when you said his name was Racy McMath.
McMath. Yeah, his name is Racy
McMath.
Yeah.
What?
That's his name.
Wow. That's a name.
Yeah.
That is a name right there. Continue about Racy McMath.
But yeah, he just wasn't good. He wasn't a good quarterback. He's not a good quarterback. I don't know what the 49ers thought about him when they picked him so high and traded up for him, all those picks. Because I don't see it. I don't see what they saw. I mean, I don't see any great potential there.
Mm-hmm. So, like, you see, like, is it fixable mechanics?
I mean, he has to work on it. He's had all this time. I know he's been hurt, but he's all this time. It doesn't look like he's done anything to change his throwing motions.
Could it be that Kyle Shanahan and Mike McCarthy haven't done anything with him?
Well, I mean, if he can't work in Shannon's offense, I mean,
see, here's the thing. Contrary to popular belief, the Shanahans don't develop QBs very well. People think they develop good QB. They don't. They're not the QB developers.
You have to be a good quarterback to play in their offense.
No, you don't.
That's what I'm saying. You don't have to be a good quarterback.
Exactly.
That's what I'm saying. If you're just like an average quarterback, you can excel in their offense, and he couldn't even do that.
That's true. That's a good point. But here's the thing: they changed their offense for him. That's how I know they're dumb. So like Kyle Shanahan tried to change his offense for him. You know, they ran him more. They didn't run their offense with him. When Brock Purdy was in, when CJ Beathard was in, when Jimmy Garoppolo was in, they ran their offense. But when he was in, they didn't run their offense. They changed it. I think that's always been the problem with Kyle Shanahan and Trey Lance. He changed his offense. He should just ran his offense. You know what I mean? Just ran his offense.
Yeah.
And that's why people were, I guarantee you, if Justin Fields was in this, was drafted by the Niners, he would have been successful. You know what I mean?
More successful.
Probably more successful because, he probably wouldn't have developed good because, again, I keep saying this. I talk to Niners fans all the time. The Shanahans aren't good QB developers at all. They're not. Mike Shanahan, when he was the head coach when he was the offensive coordinator of the Niners, he wasn't the QB coach. He was the offensive coordinator. The QB coach was George Seifert, I think, and George worked with the quarterbacks. And honestly, he didn't have to develop the quarterbacks with the Niners because they already had Steve Young. You don't need no development with Steve Young. You know what I mean? Bill Walsh has already developed him. And then when he went to Denver, you know who his offensive coordinator was? His QB coach?
Kubiak.
Gary Kubiak. That's who it was. And guess who worked with John Elway every day? Gary Kubiak. Guess who worked with Jay Cutler? Gary Kubiak. Gary Kubiak was in charge of the QBs. You know what I mean? When Gary Kubiak went to Houston, they gave him Matt Schaub, and he won a bunch of games with Matt Schaub. Boom. And then he gets fired. He then plays offensive coordinator for a bit, and then he gets rehired to Denver. They win a Super Bowl with noodle-armed Peyton Manning and Brock Osweiler. So QBs and Mike and the Shanahans, they're not very good developers of the quarterback position. They're just not. They never were. Everyone talks about their running scheme, right? We're getting random running backs getting 1,000 yards. Them and Bobby, I think Bobby Moore is the running backs coach. Those was Alfred Morris. Remember Alfred Morris?
Well, yeah, he was on the Cowboys.
Exactly. Devontae Freeman and Tevin Coleman in Atlanta. Matt Breida, Raheem Mostert in San Francisco. You know what I mean? Just random running backs. I remember, Kev. You know what the biggest epitome of the Shanahans is? When Mike Shanahan was in Denver, and they had Clinton Portis, and Clinton Portis just had a great season, and they traded him to Washington. And people were like, "Why are you trading Clinton Portis to Washington?" He said this: "I can make another Clinton Portis. I can't make a Champ Bailey."
Yeah.
That's their philosophy. They can make running backs out of anything, but they can't make a Champ Bailey. You know what I mean? That's the same thing with quarterbacks, man. They can make them goodish, but they can't elevate them to a certain extent. You know what I mean? Jimmy Garoppolo always messed up somehow. You know, he always messed up somehow. There's always a cap. CJ Beathard played well. Nick Mullins played well in their system, but you know there was a cap. Brock Purdy.
You have to be decent. You have to be a decent quarterback.
Decent, yeah, decent, and those weren't decent quarterbacks. Yeah. And I don't know why they drafted Trey Lance. It was probably them trying to see that they can try to develop a quarterback. And they realized, no, we can't. We can't develop quarterbacks. Look at this. Because they didn't run their scheme. They weren't running the Shanahan offense. Also, too, he didn't have Christian McCaffrey as his running back. He got injured. Remember, people forget he got injured, and then they traded for Christian McCaffrey. And then Brock Purdy had all the weapons. He had Christian, he had Debo, he had George. Well, Trey had George and Debo, and they weren't really running the Shanahan offense. They were trying to run this hybrid offense that they were trying to use like some running plays with the quarterback, the RPOs and then you know you can't do that with Brock Purdy. You can't do that because they're two different quarterback prototypes. But yeah, man, it's not looking good for Trey Lance's career.
Yeah, I mean, it's the second offense, and it's not. I mean, just not. I mean, he has had a clear touchdown. I mean, just on he got down there. And it's just wide open. The receiver runs a good fade, has a release on the receiver. All he had to do is just throw even just a catchable pass. Doesn't have to be great. And he's just way off and throws it out of bounds. It's not even close. I mean, it was just bad. It wasn't good.
It was bad. So, Caleb, what about the running back situation? You got Malik Davis, you got Rico Dowdle. Yeah. Did any of them separate themselves?
Well, Rico Dowdle obviously looks the best. He's at the most experience, and he looks. I mean, he didn't have too many carries, obviously, but in the one carry he did have, like he ran for 9 yards and he looked good. So, I mean, yeah, he's the best of that bunch. The running back, obviously, we didn't see Zeke, obviously, because you know he's a lot older, a lot of carries, and you know, I'm trying to save him up for later. The best player of this game was Marquise Bell. Like he was probably the MVP of this game. He had obviously 11 tackles. He had an interception. And, you know, he was playing, you know, his natural position, which is safety. He's not playing linebacker no more. So that I think that helps him out a lot. Not to taking on bigger guys that he can't be, you know, tackling or taking on blocks like that, like he was last year. Actually played safety, and you know he was playing it well. So yeah, Marquise looked really good. The problem is defensive tackles look so weak. They're so weak. Defensive tackle at the one technique, especially, and it's the reason why we made so many moves just this week on the defensive line. We traded for your guy with the Giants for Jordan Phillips. We signed Carl Lawson, who's a defensive end, and then we signed another guy. I forget what that guy's name is. But we try to make a lot of moves on this defensive line because it showed that they were running up the same problem, running up the middle. It looked really weak on that defensive line. And at least they're being proactive. At least they're trying to find, you know, something out there to try to fill those holes. But right now it just doesn't look good. A lot of problems with the run stopping abilities in that middle. So yeah, we definitely have to. Hopefully, one of these guys that we brought in, you know, shows up, but you know, wouldn't count on it. I wouldn't count on it. The other guy who played well was Tyler Guyton. Obviously, first round pick. He looks as advertised when we picked him. Like he looks huge. He used his size to his strength. I mean, he was stonewalling guys pretty well out there. Like he looked good in pass protection. Yeah, I didn't see any problems with what he was doing out there. I really liked what I saw from Tyler Guyton with this, which is great. And then the other second round pick, Marshawn Nealon, filling in. He looked good when he had a run. He had a run stop. Looked good. Looked like D-Law out there. So yeah, for our top picks, looking good. Looking good.
Yeah, well, if you followed some of the Cowboys beat reporters, there was some training camp footage of Tyler Guyton manhandling some of the this week you're against
well, we had 2 practices against the Rams, like the week leading up to the game, and the week after we still playing against the Rams in practice. So we got a lot of work in against a different team. Played them like
a lot of work in,
3 times going against them, and I mean he looked great against their pass rushers. Like I said, he really uses his size well to just get his hands on them, and he doesn't move, like he just keeps them there, So yeah, that's looking. I mean, it's early, but it's looking like we're hitting another good offensive lineman.
Yeah, well, the trade for Jordan Phillips is conditional. You have to have him on your roster for 2 games for the trade to go through. So we'll see if your defensive tackle.
Honestly, he probably will. I mean, he's probably making it, considering what I saw on Saturday or Sunday. Yeah, I mean, he has a great chance of making this team because the rest of them don't look good.
Hankins, Mozzie, nothing.
I mean, that's what Hankins is gone. Hankins is on a different team.
That's why I said, with you.
No, he went to a different team.
Oh.
That's why we brought in this guy, because we don't have Hankins. I think we're trying to make this guy into another Hankins, because he's basically similar. He has that big size, and he's long-term vet, just like Hankins was. Basically the same player, Yeah,
and the Giants, this is the second time I've seen them trade with a rival in my lifetime. First, it was the Leonard Williams trade when they traded for him from the Jets, and now with the Cowboys. The last time I saw the Cowboys trade with a division rival was draft night when they traded with the Eagles. The Eagles stole Devontae Smith from us. Still haven't forgiven you for that, but it's all right. And then y'all traded back. You did.
Still nothing.
They hopped us over, but that draft, we traded back to draft Kadarius Toney, which led to us drafting Kayvon Thibodeau and Evan Neal. So I don't know if that trade back is as good as it was, but we'll see. We'll see. But it's fine. It's fine. But yeah. Any other news that are coming up? The wide receiver category, Caleb. How was it looking? Dante Burton. It was a lot of catches spread out. Burton had Jalen Cropper had 4 catches. Shout out to Fresno State.
Yeah, and that's what it's hard to tell. Like I said, it's hard to tell when Trey Lance is throwing it all over the place, and so it's hard to really judge what the receivers are doing out there. Like I said, they had to adjust, and that's what Jalen Cropper was doing. I saw a lot of adjustment passes by him, adjustment catches by him. So yeah, he looked really good in the game. I think he looked probably the best in the game. He didn't have very many yards, but he was catching. I mean, he was catching what Trey Lance was throwing at him, which was tough for him to do. But yeah, he looked pretty good. But the guys kind of set. I mean, that's if we. I mean, it depends whether CeeDee Lamb signs or not. We really determine is he going to play? When's he going to play? I mean, it really all depending on when is CeeDee Lamb coming in, and then that'll show who we keep on this roster at the receiving corps, at least, because that really determines where we're at in that position. Because if we don't have CeeDee Lamb, we're going to be in trouble no matter what. So we're just looking towards whether we're going to sign him, and then we can look at who will make the 53-man roster in the receiving corps position. Otherwise, the defense did pretty well, probably better than the offense did. A lot of guys showing up that I've honestly never even heard of. Guys like Julius Wood, who's a safety, had a pick in the game. Brock Mogensen had a picking in the game. We had 4 interceptions total. We should have had 5 in the game. I mean, Stetson Benson, he is not a good quarterback. He was terrible in that game. Should have thrown 5 picks. We ended with 4. Yeah, so our defense, at least in the secondary, we look pretty damn good, showing up there. But my goodness, Stetson Bennett, like what? Whoa, that was
4 interceptions, Caleb, and y'all still couldn't win the game.
Well, I mean, he had a nice drive on the last drive.
Yeah, well how many of the alleged?
That's exactly what I'm saying about Trey Lance. Mm-hmm. He had all those opportunities that the defense was giving him, and he did nothing with them.
Yeah, so the interceptions go to Marquise Bell, Eric Scott Jr., Julius Wood, and Brock Mogensen.
Yeah,
those were the 4 interceptions. Yeah,
2 of those guys I never even heard of.
Yeah, you guys did end up cutting Shaka Tony after this game. There's some cuts.
That's when we brought in Carl Lawson. We
just signed Carl Lawson. That's true. Yeah. But now, Caleb, let's transition over to previewing this week's game against the. Why do I keep forgetting who you guys against? Brain is not working.
In Vegas.
In Vegas.
The game tomorrow.
Who are you against?
Who are we against? There's only one Vegas team.
Oh, okay. My bad. Raiders. The Raiders. You're against the Raiders. What are you looking forward coming out of this game? Are you guys? Are you looking?
I'm looking to have a lot of drinks.
Okay, that's true.
Have a good time.
So you're really not going to give me any good scouting insight out of this game, are you?
No.
You're going to give me nothing, really?
No. I'll be locked in. I'll be locked in on the game.
You'll be locked in on the game. You're going to take a notepad.
Yeah, I'm taking notepad.
You're gonna take notes on like 4th string defensive tackles.
Absolutely.
Give me your full report on Jordan Phillips. I want it next week.
I will. I'll be looking forward to it. No, but I am looking.
Now have a fun time, man.
I want to see at least one series from the starters. Mm-hmm. I mean, I know it's not going to determine whether we're going to win a Super Bowl if they play anything in the preseason, but I just like getting off to a good start in the regular season. I just want that just for the team, just for myself. Going into the season, I just want to start off really, start off well, and I think that does contribute. Even if they just play a couple series in the game, they have a feel for it and they don't look all rusty coming out of the gate. So yeah.
Well, usually, Caleb, back in the day when there was 4 preseason games, this 3rd game, but now it's a 2nd game, really. This used to be the dress rehearsal.
Yeah.
This week would be the dress rehearsal for the starters. They would come out, play a quarter, maybe sometimes a quarter and a half. But now it's changed. So this is week 2, technically. We may not even see
and it all depends on what the coach does.
Yeah.
Like everybody's different. Every team's different on what they like to do for this game. Because like the Patriots, they had their starter, but obviously the quarterback is kind of undetermined there. Mm-hmm. But the Eagles didn't play their starter. Jalen Hurts didn't play at all last night. So all depends on what they want to do. I just want to see him just because I'll be there. So I want to see at least the starters play a little bit. But as far as I just want to see when Cooper Rush is in there, because that's the only way I can actually determine the receivers, who's making plays, who's not. That'll be a really good tell, because I think Rush looked good in the game when he had a 1 deep pass against the Rams. Looked really good on that one. So yeah, Cooper Rush is solidified as the backup. So he looks as best as Cooper Rush is going to look. But so yeah, I definitely get a good look at the receivers at that point when he's in the game. As far as the running backs, we didn't see Deuce Vaughn at all, so I don't know where the hell he's at.
Is he injured? Is he what's up with him?
I have no idea what's going on with him, but he did not play in the Rams game, so maybe he'll play in this game. So I'll be looking for that. And yeah, the guys that we just brought in, obviously, the Jordan Phillips, the Carson Lawson, all these different. There was another defensive tackle that we brought in. All these guys, I want to see what they got. If that the run defense is going to focus on the most, because just didn't look that great against the Rams. Obviously, all last season under Dan Quinn, and then we've got a lot of picks, which was surprising because I mean that's what we're known for under Dan Quinn, but apparently Zimmer has this defense also with all this turnovers on defense. So hoping to see that continue into against the Raiders. Obviously, their quarterback situation, they're going to be playing both, O'Connell and Minshew, trying to see who's starting for them. So we'll definitely get, two different looks against those quarterbacks. So that'll be, something to look forward to.
That's good. That's good. Also, too, what am I say? Like people forget about Mike Zimmer, man. He's a DB coach, so the back end is going to be solid. Like I kept talking about for years about Mike Zimmer, how his teams are always built back in. When he was the defensive coordinator in Cincinnati, it was back in. He had like about 6-7 DBs you knew about. Leon Ball, Terrence Newman. Shout out to Terrence Newman. That man just followed him everywhere he went. Guess who drafted him when he was in Dallas? Mike Zimmer. Mike Zimmer was like, give me Terrence Newman. Terrence Newman just followed him around. And then especially his Minnesota teams. Back in. You know how many DBs they drafted over the years?
Yeah.
And then even in
I think the biggest difference between him, like he disguised his coverages, and that's something we have not seen in Dallas since probably Rob Ryan, because all the last season's coordinators that we've had,
they're pretty straight up.
Kind of just play defense kind of straight up, kind of show you what they're doing, and just play off of that. And this guy and his is a lot different. It shows. It showed up in practice against the Rams when we're playing them because the defenses were playing well. They played well against the Rams first team offense. Diggs was getting picks off of Stafford, and I think that has to do with the different looks that Mike Zimmer dials up.
Exactly, and that's why like I said, Minnesota, man, they had Xavier Woods, they had Mike Hughes, Trey Waynes, Terrence Newman, Leon Ball played as well, Harrison Smith, Andrews and Dejo, like all of that. And he's kind of bringing it over here, bringing it over here, bringing it back. It's gonna be back in, right? But he has a great in because of Micah and DeMarcus. The problem is the defensive tackles and the linebackers. You don't know. Yeah.
Minnesota, the linebackers look better. They look better. I mean, Eric Kendricks looks like
Eric Kendricks. Shot someone he had in Minnesota. He had Eric Kendricks and Anthony Barr.
And then Overshown look. It doesn't look like the injuries really. I mean, he was like on a snap count because of the injury, but he looked good. I mean, he looked just as good as
could DeMarvin be the Anthony Barr of the Minnesota Vikings? That rangy box to box linebacker with Eric Kendricks. Eric Kendrick knows how to play with those types of linebackers because of Anthony Barr. People, fun fact about Anthony Barr, he'd only been playing linebacker for like 4 to 5 years. He was a running back. Is most of his college is his football career. Then at UCLA, they're like, let's move you to linebacker. You know what I mean? And it worked. So yeah.
Yeah, and then the last guy I'll be looking at is Cooper Beebe. He's in a kind of a battle with Brock Hoffman, even though he looks better in just pure blocking ability than Brock Hoffman. He's still working on the snaps, but he's in battle with that. So we'll see who looks
crazy idea, man. Crazy idea. If he's looking better in blocking, shouldn't he just play guard, the position he always played?
Well, that's hard when you have Tyler Smith and you have Zach Martin playing guards.
Maybe don't draft a guard that's never played center.
Well, he was the best available.
That's just something. Or draft a center if you needed a center, because Jackson Powers Johnson was right there.
Well, we ended up taking Tyler Guyton.
I was talking about in the second round.
Well, I guess we weren't looking at the second round. We were looking at the third round.
Yeah, because I think Jackson Powers Johnson was drafted. Where was he drafted?
Yeah, he was in the second round.
Exactly.
Well, I don't think they were going to go offensive lineman back to back.
Well, you needed offensive lineman, so you goddamn draft offensive lineman back to back.
Well, we didn't do that.
Well, we drafted another center then.
Well, we did. We got to Cooper Petey.
He's a guard. God, man.
Well, he'll be turned into a center.
We'll see about that. We'll see if he's as phenomenal as Zach Martin.
Twice a year.
Huh?
You'll see him twice a year.
Yeah, and twice a year he's gonna get mauled by Dexter Lawrence twice a year.
Nah.
Yeah, twice a year. Yeah, put a guard at tackle, put a guard at center, and put Dexter Lawrence over him. Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, we'll see twice a year.
We'll see who wins that battle.
We'll see twice a year, and then we'll talk about Mr. Grab.
Yeah, that young rookie's gonna take him to school.
Take him to school, my derriere. You gonna take him to school? I'm gonna take you to school.
Yeah, what class?
The economics. That's what's up. We'll see about that. All right, let's move on to the other team in blue. What I'm really seeing more is more intensity by the overall Giants team. Backups and if we get the starters, just overall intensity, hitting someone. You know what I mean? Because that's what's really been teasing. About some of these. Today we signed Jacob Johnson, fullback tight end, the former Raider who was with Carmen Basilio his entire career. He's been with Carmen his entire career. So Jacob's going to be with us this time around. Two of our tight ends got hurt. I believe Tyree Jackson got hurt and Lawrence Cadrew got hurt. It's going to be a long period of time. Makes us really thin at that position because we're going to have Theo Johnson and Daniel Bellinger. Then who else? Jack Stoll or or Jacob Johnson. We'll see about who it was. Thank you, Leo. I appreciate it. So really shout out to Dan Duggan. Some of his notes are kind of similar to mine. Dayball wants to have a level of intensity. Like I said, some intensity, some physicality. We want to see it again. Some hitting. Daniel Jones has been looking good physically. He's been throwing deep a lot in practice. He's been letting it go. He's been saying, screw it, we're slinging it. But the problem is that doesn't happen during the game. Because I remember last year he was slinging it deep in practice, and then guess what happened in week 1? Couldn't do that. Because he was full on assaulted by the Dallas Cowboys defense and in the rain, like a thing. But the main keys I'm looking forward is safety and defensive line because of this. So Jason Pinnock and Dane Belton are seen to be the two safeties. The two safeties. Can Tyler Nubin encroach on that duo and take over one of their jobs? Because nowadays safety is kind of very hybrid because nowadays safeties can play both safety positions. Back in the day, you had the free safety, then you had the strong safety, right? Free safety stayed hide, roamed, and got the interceptions. Strong safety would creep up and help and run defense. You had roles. You had roles with the safety position. Now it's a little muddled. Now it's just safety. You kind of switch responsibility, because nowadays the defenses are trying to be more, complicated, try to disguise coverages. No. Trying to disguise coverages. Like in Minnesota, who was the strong safety? Harrison Smith or Andrews and Dejo? Who was the free safety? They kind of played similarly. Harrison Smith is definitely better because it's Harrison Smith, one of the most underrated football players in the NFL, period. I think he doesn't get the just due he usually gets, but Harrison Smith has been great for a long time. But now with safeties, you are like, who's who? So can Tyler Nubin encroach on that? Or could they run 3 safeties? Nowadays in the NFL, you're running nickel, you're running dime. You know what I mean? Yeah. You're not running your base. Your base is your nickel, basically, or your dime, depending on the team.
You play that more than
exactly than your base.
Run your base defense.
Exactly. That's why Drew Phillips in the slot was going to be but he got hurt, So now he'll miss the game. So now Isaiah Simmons is seen as a DB, but he's going to be the DB linebacker on the field. He's going to be the third DB in the nickel. You know what I mean? So there's that. So he's going to be in the slot, you know. But defensive lineman, is the defensive tackle depth. Nose tackle, defensive tackle. We know who's the starter. It's Dexter Lawrence. Possibly the second best defensive tackle in the NFL. Probably, you know, some people may say first because, you know, you take a Christian Jones, I take a Dexter Lawrence. You know, it is what it is. Aaron Donald is retired. So it's kind of between Chris and Dexter. So there's that. Secondary to him is Raheem Nunez Roches. He's the backup. He's the guy that's going to be with him, his running mate. It's that third defensive lineman. Is it Ryder Anderson? Is it Elijah Chapman, the rookie out of SMU? We traded Jordan Phillips for a reason. That means Ryder and Elijah blew him out of the water. Could we keep both of them? Where's Jordan Riley, the defensive tackle we drafted last year as a development piece out of Oregon? Is his name in the mix? It's not looking like his name is in the mix. So we'll see how it is. Then Azeez Ojulari. Shane Bowden may have said he may be a fourth pass rusher. They may have 4 pass rushers. Him, Tibbs, Brian, and Dexter. If you know, if shout out to any Giants fans watching this, they may remember the NASCAR package. The NASCAR package back in the day was JPP, Justin Tuck, OCU Minora, either Barry Cofield or Chris Canty was defensive tackle. They pushed Justin Tuck inside. They had OC JPP with Cofield or Canty with Justin Tuck, and or they would slide in Matthias Kiwanuka. That was called the NASCAR package. Boom. Matt, that was a dangerous package. Huh?
I hated all those guys.
I loved them. They were my boys. To this day, OCU Minora, one of my favorite Giants of all time, because I loved saying OCU Minora every time he sacked somebody. Imagine yelling out OC when he like sacked him. I remember watching when they assaulted Donovan McNabb on that Monday Night Football. That was amazing. That was tremendous. I believe it was 10 sacks. It was 10 sacks. He had 6 or 5. That record stood for a long time until last year. Guess what team broke it, Caleb?
Against the Giants?
Yeah, it was you guys. You guys broke it. Yeah. I believe. No. You guys broke it, then the Seahawks broke it.
Yeah.
You guys had 11, and then they had 12. It was pretty rough. Pretty rough.
Speaking of bad offensive line, how's your offensive line looking?
It's not looking good.
Yeah.
John Runyon got hurt, so I haven't seen him in practice. Steeney was taking over his left guard positioning. John Michael Schmidt still injured.
All those moves, all what we saw in Hard Knocks, saying, "Oh, we beefed up our offensive line. We got this guy. We got that guy." Now
they're hurt. They got hurt. They all got hurt. Jermaine Illuminor got hurt, but he's not hurt anymore. Evan Neal is still coming back. He's still on the PUP list. He's a little hurt. John Michael Schmitz has a shoulder thing. He's still not playing. So
maybe you should have taken that instead of a receiver. Yeah.
Joe Alt. We should have gotten Joe Alt. That massive human being.
He was taken before the Giants, so you couldn't.
Yeah, he was. He was taken before the Giants. So like, who would we have taken?
I don't know.
J.C. Latham. We'd have drafted J.C. Latham. But he's an Alabama lineman, though. You know, I'm starting to say we shouldn't be drafting Alabama linemen anymore. Alabama linemen do not pan out in the NFL. Name the last Alabama lineman that panned out, Caleb.
I don't know.
Exactly. Dallas Chance Warmack didn't pan out. Cyrus Kwanjo didn't pan out. Evan Neal ain't looking good.
Was it Alex Leatherwood? Was someone?
Didn't he get cut by the Raiders?
Yeah.
So he got cut by the Raiders. So like, What's going on, man? What's what it is, you know?
But you got to need some. I mean, it's just as bad as last year. I mean, Malik Neighbors ain't going to do much if he can't get off to his route.
Exactly. You know what I mean? So we'll see about that. We'll see about that, man. We'll see. But I am kind of excited. I am kind of excited about Jacob Johnson, though, because he, you know, no.
Anybody? No.
No to both
and
questions.
No to both. Yeah.
Huh. Yeah. Jay says, what I miss? Daniel Jones get any better? CeeDee Lamb get paid yet?
No,
the answer is
Daniel
no
Jones still
and
sucks,
no.
and
CD still doesn't have his money. You know, yeah. So I'm actually kind of excited about Jacob Johnson, man. You know, it's a fullback, tight end, H-back type position. He was 7th, 9th, 6th, and 5th in full and like pullback snaps. Last year, guess we had to use Daniel Bellinger as a fullback, which negated our 21 personnel, or you know what I mean, for offensive line protection. Now, if we need offensive line protection, we can throw in we can go 22 personnel. We can have 2 tight ends, a fullback and a running back. Go old school, man. Remember 22 personnel? Man, they don't make it like they used to, man. 22 personnel. That, you know, I mean, I miss me some 22 personnel. So there's that, you know. Shout out to Johnson.
Yeah. Still, we'll Daniel Jones is still not gonna read the coverage right and throw a pick.
Nah, bro, because people forget, man. People forget this. When he was coming out of college, they said one thing was wrong about him. They said he does not have fast processing speed. Todd McShay said it. Everybody said it. And you were seeing it. He doesn't process fast enough.
That might be the worst thing for a quarterback.
Yes, he doesn't process fast enough. And, you know, speaking of Hard Knocks, man, you could see the disgust on Brandon Brown and Brian Daboll's faces. They're like, oh, my God, we're going to go. Like, you remember that scene where Joe Shane is pitching Daniel Jones to Brandon Brown and Chris Rosati, you know, like them. And they're just sitting there like this. They know he was speaking bullshit. They knew it. They know he was speaking bullshit, and they knew he's saying this because the camera's right there. Brandon Brown and Chris Rosati just were like, bruh, we know you don't believe this. We know you're only saying this because Hard Knocks is on right now. And you know what? I'm you know, a lot of Giants fans liked Hard Knocks. Me, I could take it or leave it. You know what I mean? I didn't feel anything about it. Nothing made me feel, ooh, look at this. You know what I mean? I didn't, you know, because some Hard Knocks make you feel something, right? Even, you know, back in the day, they used to make you feel something, right? You know what I mean? You know, the Jets, now let's go get a snack. JJ Watt saying, let me go flip tires while you guys videotape me because I'm kind of corny. And I want people to know that. But I like JJ Watt, by the way. I like JJ Watt. I'm a big fan of JJ. Wonderful person. Shout out to him. Shout out to his family. Like JJ Watt. But what he did on that Hard Knocks was a bit corny. You know what I mean? When he's like, he's out.
You got to get that extra work.
Yeah, get that extra work, man. That's the record right there. That's the record tire flips. DeAndre Hopkins against D'Angelo Hall. Everyone remembers that. You know, everybody remembers where they were when that happened.
Yeah, I don't think everybody.
I'm making a hyperbole. But this Hard Knocks, I'm just like, this is how a front office works. Okay.
They basically lie to themselves and cope.
They lie to themselves, and nothing new happened. When I watched stuff, it just confirmed everything I thought happened. You know what I mean? So like when he was going through his contingency plan with the owners, it's like, of course you better have contingency plans. I expect you to have contingency plans. You should. That's not a revelation for me when I saw that when he was going through the draft board, because for years we were told, yeah, we have our top target, and when the top target's off the board, we have targets, B, C, D, F, you know what I mean? E. Like, we all knew that. So they never did anything that caught my eye. Like, ooh, I didn't know they did this. It's like, yeah. The money thing kind of thing. And you know what? The index of the running back thing, where it's like, oh, if they reach a certain age, everyone knew about that. But then, like, you sign Devin Singletary and he's 27, and then your justification is like, oh, but he doesn't have a lot of snaps. He doesn't have a lot of rushes to his name, even though he's 27. Which is like, yeah, duh. Of course, his body isn't the same as Saquon's body when he had like so many rushes in a destructive knee injury. Like, duh. You know what I mean? Everyone knows this. But there's all, but the funniest thing was him saying that, and he's talking to Frank Gore, the running back that stayed rushing the ball till he's like almost 40. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, running backs after 30, they tail off. And it's Frank Gore. It's like, yeah, most running backs, not this guy. But yeah, it is what it is, man. I don't even know why they showed them try to trade for Drake May. It just made Joe Shane look stupid. You know what I mean? It's like,
they had Bo Nix.
It didn't make him look good. Like, oh, you didn't even try to trade for him. You kind of asked, but if Joe Shane knew they were never going to trade the third pick, if that was kind of like an inquiry call, I understand that. But so I don't understand why people are like, oh, he tried to trade for it. Yeah, I think he tried, but he also knew that the Patriots weren't trading out. They weren't trading out. So you can't make a deal when the other team doesn't want to make a deal. You know what I mean? So I don't fault him for that. People are like, oh, he didn't get his guy. He should have went after Drake May. You can try, but when the Bears definitely weren't going to trade with you, the Washington Commanders weren't going to trade with you, and the Patriots weren't going to move either. So you were kind of dead in the water. You're screwed. You were screwed. Starting Tommy Cutlets screwed you over. But we'll have that 3-week story that we'll remember forever. So shout out to him.
It's a great 3 weeks.
It was a great 3 weeks. But yeah, that's my looking forward this for this week. I don't know why I started talking about Hard Knocks. I'm sorry about that, guys. I kind of had like a flashback. But yeah, okay. Last thing is cornerback 2. Drew Phillips, definitely the slot corner. Definitely the slot corner. Who's going to be cornerback 2? Is it Trey Hawkins III? He kind of tailed off last year. It wasn't very good. But can Nick McLeod seize cornerback 2 in this game? We're talking about one of the best receiving cores in the game. Stephon Diggs, Tank Dell, Nico Williams. You know what I mean? So we'll see if he can take that position, because that position is wide open, cornerback 2. All right, Caleb. I know this is preseason.
Yeah.
And we can't really predict who wins.
No.
You guys think you're gonna win?
I hope so. But every game I've gone to, we've lost, so I wouldn't expect it.
No,
not expecting it. Just because every time I go to a game, it's always disappointment at the end.
Yeah, I guess so.
Hopefully that
I don't think we win, because I don't think. Honestly, I think we do win, because I think both teams pull their starters before like halftime, and it's going to be a bunch of backups on backup crime. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, obviously. Let's see if the Raiders win last week. I don't know if their backups are any good.
No, I don't think they won last week.
No, they lost by 1.
No, see, interesting.
So maybe you have a chance.
Yeah.
Hopefully, I'll be happy. Oh, yes. Drew Lock still hurt?
Yes. Drew Lock is still hurt. So we'll see.
Oh, you have a hurt Daniel Jones and a hurt Drew Lock.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's Tommy DeVito time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Shout out to Tommy Cutlets. So let's
play
do it.
The whole season.
Play him the whole season. So we'll see about that.
You make a lot of money.
He's gonna make a lot of cutlets. You see what is it? They mic'd him up. And John Michael Schmitz was trying like, hey, and then he told John Michael, like, nah, I ain't doing that no more, but I gotta change it up. Because I think he's a little irritated now about the Paisan or the Tommy Cullets, because they leaned into the Italian thing, and I think he just wants to play ball. You know what? Good for him. If you want to focus more,
he probably should lean into it. He'll make more money doing that than playing ball.
Well, we'll see. We'll see about that. But I digress. Let's keep it moving. All right, Caleb. Where can people find you, my man?
You can find me at the game on Saturday.
Yeah, you can.
Tomorrow. So yeah, you catch me in the audience. But but you also can find me on this channel, doing good, doing better in the NFL on. We've been going on Sundays. We'll be on Sunday this week, making you guys money. So if you like making money, go tune in for that. You can also find me on X and Instagram, NFL KO22. So go follow me.
All right, guys. My name is Ferris Muthana. You can find me at Ferris Muthana on Twitter. You can find me _Ferris, _Ferris_Muthana on Instagram. I'll try to use it a little bit more. Make sure to like this video, guys, and make sure to support the channel. I want to double check how many subscribers we got. We are at 165 subscribers. So hit that subscribe button, man. We're at 35 away from 200. Hit that like, hit that subscribe. Look us up on the audio feeds, Spotify, Apple Podcast, LGRN, the highlights. Listen, give us that 5-star rating. We appreciate it. Thank you so much for all the love and support over the years. We're going to keep grinding, trying to keep growing, trying to have some fun. You know what I mean? Doing the thing we love to do, talking about our teams. We may not be experts.
Not at all.
But we do have fun doing this.
I do.
I had a nice tagline. I had a tagline, but it didn't work.
How was that a tagline?
No, I was trying to make a tagline. It was like, we're not experts, but we're something. But I couldn't think of anything. We're not experts. That's the tagline. We're not experts. One day we will be. So
maybe you will, but I don't know about me.
You know what I mean? I'm trying to give me some all 22 footage. I'm trying to break down some all 22 footage. I'll probably re-up on my NFL Plus. We'll see about that. On that note, everyone, have a wonderful day. Stay safe, and we'll see y'all next time. Peace.